Good afternoon and welcome to this meeting of Caerphilly SACRE being held on Monday the 20th of March 2022 at 3 p.m. This meeting is being held remotely via Microsoft Teams due to restrictions in relation to COVID-19. This meeting is being recorded and will be made available to view via the Council's website, except for any discussions involving confidential or exempt items. Therefore, the images and audio of those individuals present and or speaking will be publicly available to all via the recording on the Council website at www.caerphilly.gov.uk. And now I'm going to do a roll call for attendance. Councillor Mrs Aldworth, we've had apologies. Councillor Collis? No, I don't think Councillor Collis is with us. Councillor Mrs Oliver has sent apologies. Councillor Teresa Parry has sent apologies. Councillor Julian Simmons has sent apologies. And myself, Councillor John Taylor, I'm present. The teacher representatives, Helen Bartley has sent apologies. Tara Lloyd has sent apologies. Mynir Jones has sent apologies. Catherine McCulloch.
Here, Chair.
Thank you. And Claire McLaughlin has sent apologies also. And from the faith and other belief system organisations, we've had apologies from Mrs Envis Hawthorne. Mr Janet Jones.
Present, Chair.
Mr Martin Weston has sent his apologies, and I'll say more about Mr Weston a little bit later on. Mr Michael Gray.
Yes, present.
We've had apologies also from Major Paula Hubbard of the Salvation Army and from Mr Ken Chamberlain. Could I check that the following officers are present? Hayley Jones?
Yes, present, Chair.
Vicky Bodenham?
Present, Chair.
And Rebecca Barrett?
Present, Chair.
And I'd also like to welcome supporting officers from community services who are present in the background. So thank you all for confirming your attendance. And please can I remind attendees that if they lose connection during the meeting, please make every attempt to reconnect. However, the meeting will continue as long as the meeting is quorate, and committee services are on hand and will be able to assist if a reconnection is necessary. Please could I ask everyone to keep their microphones on mute until they are invited to speak. And if you wish to speak, please use the hands up function in Microsoft Teams. Today we'll be voting on items via hands up and roll call. Item 1, apologies for absence. Well, I think I've read out all the apologies we've had, so if they can be recorded, that'd be great. Item 2, declarations of interest. Councillors and officers are reminded of their personal responsibility to declare any personal and or prejudicial interests in respect of any item of business on this agenda in accordance with the Council's Constitution, the Local Government Act 2000, the Council's Constitution and the Code of Conduct for both councillors and officers. Please use the hands up function to indicate if you have any such declaration. No, there don't appear to be any such declarations. We'll move then to item 3, which is to approve and sign the minutes of the Caerphilly SACRE held on the 25th of November 2021. So I'll go through them for accuracy. Page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, and page 5. Someone willing to move and second the minutes? Right. Thank you, Janet. They've been moved. Is somebody willing to second? Either Michael Gray or Catherine McCulloch, could you second the minutes?
Yes.
Right, thank you, Michael. So the minutes have been moved and seconded. If you're in agreement with the minutes, please could you use the hands up in order to approve them? Right, that's unanimous. The minutes have been approved. I don't know if there are any matters that need arising from the minutes. I think most of those would be covered in the agenda that we have before us. Item 4 is an update from the RV advisor. So, Hayley Jones, I'm going to pass over to you.
Diolch, Chair. I'm going to try and share my screen now, hopefully. Okay. Oh, like that. Taking a little bit of time. My computer's been slow all day. Can you see that? Excellent. Okay.
Yes.
I'm just going to give you a quick update, really, of all the things we've been doing. So the first bit of work, I suppose, is just an update on the cross-regional curriculum design. So we've been working with Lucy Crean as part of a cross-consortia project to come together and look at designing our new curriculum. So this has been ongoing in the background. Loads of schools from the Caerphilly borough have participated in this: Blackwood, Marton, Cymrumney, just to name a few. And we've worked in our AOLEs and then also in subject-specific groups to try and identify and map out some higher order concepts and knowledge within the RVE part of it. The second phase then is for Lucy to take all of the strands and the concepts that we've kind of come up with and to put it into a curriculum design, I suppose, map the schools can use to help support them when they're designing the new curriculum. So hopefully there'll be a second round, a second phase where more schools will have to join in and have this training as well, which I think is invaluable. It's been a real nice insight into how curriculum design happens from the top, I think, and from the higher order thinking. So that's been really exciting, and Caerphilly schools have taken on board and they've worked really hard on this project within the RVE area. So that's been something to mark, I think. And then obviously Curriculum for Wales development groups within the EAS is still running, so we've still got the teaching and learning and the progression assessment groups. They are all still running in the background, and if you want, or if teachers want any more advice on this, then they can go to the EAS website, and there's a new website designed there to help them to navigate the new curriculum, and on there then will be posted things that are specific to the AOLEs as well. But it's important to note that this website is not just for teachers, it's for anybody, any stakeholders who has a role within the Curriculum for Wales. So it could be support staff, and anyone really. So you can go parents, they can go and have a look at it and see what's happening really with the Curriculum for Wales and how it's moving on. In the EAS as well, we also have a team space and the middle leadership programme continuing. So it slowed down a little bit obviously due to COVID, but that's kind of picking up again now. And all the resources are available so asynchronously, so people can just dip in and dip out when they've got time, because time constraints are a problem for teachers. Okay, my next exciting update is our locally agreed syllabus. So I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's contributed to this and all the work that's gone into it. It's been yeah, just a busy time, just trying to pull it all together, and especially short space of time. So I appreciate all your help with this. I have a draft to show you if you'd like to just have a look at it now. So I'll try and see if I can click on my link. Or it might not let me through PowerPoint, so I might have to come out there and go to my files. Where's my draft gone? Run away with me now. Maybe if I stop sharing, it might let me look it down. Okay. Am I still sharing my screen? Can you see my draft?
Yes, it's still there, Hayley.
Is it still on PowerPoint? This is the weight, I promise. Okay. Is that coming up on your screen now?
No, it's still the same.
Still my PowerPoint? Okay, where's my computer?
Actually, Hayley, I don't know whether it's that important for now, because
Okay.
we'll be looking at it in the agreed syllabus standing conference that's going to come after this meeting. So
that's fine. I could leave it and move on. That's fine.
yeah, I think that might be easier.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, just update on professional learning then. So we've been rolling out professional learning to senior leaders in regards to the legislation changes for RVE. So I've been doing this, I've done 3 sessions. This has been welcomed by schools and senior leaders, especially with all the changes and how they're going to implement this in their schools and the effect it's going to have on their schools. We had a chance then to feedback on what the current state of RE is as it stands in schools and their concerns. So many teachers fed back on this. There were some concerns about higher level teaching assistants in primary schools, teaching RE and then RV as it is going to be known, and how they're going to sort of cope with the changes in the curriculum, and then how they need some more training and some guidance. So we're going to look into trying to help them a little bit. We spoke about and did some work around the no right to withdraw, and how schools could probably think about informing parents maybe if they wanted to, and if there was a need for that. So we've decided to create a little video that maybe schools could post on their websites and their school websites. So I'm going to try, I've done the notes for it, so I'm going to try and do that, and also I'll pass it through SACRE so you can have a look before we pass it on to schools. And then they were just talking about a little bit about planning and curriculum time and the pressures for planning the new curriculum, and obviously how they're going to welcome the new agreed syllabus coming out to them sooner rather than later, so they can then get this underway. I did highlight in these professional learning sessions the work of the SACRE and how you can offer more support as well to schools, as well as national bodies like Wasaka and NAPFRE. So they welcomed that as well, and they're all very positive about this and positive about RVE going forward as well. And just raising the profile of SACRE, I think, is really important for schools, because I think because we haven't done as much in schools because of COVID, that it's just a gentle reminder of the valuable work that you all do. And then some nice information here on Holocaust Memorial Day, because there was lots of work going on in schools in regards to commemorating it. So Black Miners Institute and Caerphilly were illuminated to remember the Holocaust, and the theme one day then, I suppose, is never more poignant than it is now, with all that's going on in the world. Blackwood primary schools then wrote about their own experiences during the pandemic. And then they related this really nicely in a diary extract to Anne Frank being in lockdown, as they call it, in a tiny attic room. So I think people did some really nice empathetic work. They showed a lot of empathy, a lot of compassion in their writing, and it was just nice to see some samples of work from schools, because to see what they're doing on the ground, which was really lovely. And then there's just some more information there then on what was posted on Caerphilly County Borough website in regards to the media posts that they did. And I just wanted to draw our attention really then to collective worship. So SACRE, obviously you monitor the parts of the inspection reports in regards to collective worship. And this is a concern for schools. So when I'm talking to schools, they are a little bit concerned about this. They are a little bit confused in regards to the changes of the RVE guidance and whether this has had an impact on collective worship. So it's just worth reminding ourselves and schools, I suppose, that RVE and collective worship are distinct, and that we should still provide collective worship in schools. It's still mandatory, and that it should be mainly of broad and Christian nature, and that to make it appropriate. So we were thinking about then how pupils, whether pupils can be withdrawn from collective worship. And I said the SACREs should schools more to like have a look at and be part of the collective worship that's happening across the schools in Caerphilly, as we did previously pre-COVID, to try and reinstate that a little bit more as well. Hopefully going forward now things are easing a little bit, for us to go back in and be part of these services and what's happening in the ground. And then Wasaka then met with Esther on the 9th of March. So following feedback from this, during our Wasaka meeting on the 6th of April, I'm going to reinstate the idea of looking at the Esther inspection reports and look at provision, so we can start looking at them again. It kind of went on the back foot a little bit because of COVID and Esther not going in and doing the inspections as they would. But I think it's important to start looking at these again and, you know, again, offering support or offering letters where schools have performed really well. Examination updates then. There's been a podcast released by Linda Maddock from WJC explaining any adaptations to the summer GCSE examinations 2022. So I put the links in the PowerPoint, and I can share the PowerPoint, but they are there. And also then the advice in the GCSE handbook is published on WJC. So they're just the adaptation. Most schools have received this information already, but I just think it's worth noting that those adaptations there, and they're now in a podcast form, which I think is nice for schools and easy for them to look at and listen to. And then back to the training, really, I suppose, in professional learning of us as a SACRE as a whole. I think we would usually receive SACRE training on our roles and responsibilities at the beginning of each academic year, but due to change the changing over, so myself stepping into the role a bit later, and COVID and other things, I suppose, just taking more priority just because of the nature of what was going on. I think some professional learning should take place maybe in the summer. So I'm going to look at trying to look at developing us as a SACRE and offering some professional learning to those who would like some, and maybe update the SACRE membership pack to bring it in line with any changes that's happening in the curriculum, and especially the changes in name, etc. And then, as I said earlier, it'd be nice where possible to hold meetings in schools in the borough, so members can, especially new members, they can familiarise themselves with RE, collective worship in schools, and, you know, just how RVE works in schools, because sometimes I think it's different when you're outside of it in comparison to when you're actually in the thick of it in schools. And I think that'd be something nice to try and do in the summer term. So we'll try and see if we can get a school that's happy to have us, even, you know, for a short space of time, to go in and just so we can hold our meeting there possibly. Obviously it'll depend on if we're allowed to and if we can, but if we could, I think that would be something nice to do to finish our year on more of a normal kind of note. And that is me for today.
Right. Thank you, Hayley Jones. Thank you very much. Are there any questions before we note Hayley's report? There is one update to give, that update on membership. Mr. Martin Weston from the Roman Catholic Diocese has stepped down from the SACRE after quite a few years as a member. So I'd like to thank Mr. Weston for his services to the Caerphilly SACRE, and I know that Rebecca will be sending him a card on our behalf to thank him. So, but I just wanted it to be recorded in the minutes that we have appreciated the input of Mr. Weston over the years to the SACRE. So thank you, Mr. Weston.
Chairman, I wondered if I could second what you said, because I had a lot to do with Mr. Westcott when I was a councillor and also chair of the SACRE.
Right.
I endorse everything you said and wish him well for the future.
Right. Thank you, Michael Ray. Thank you. Are there any questions for Hayley on this report? If there are no questions, then thank you. The report is noted. Item 5 is the correspondence update. The SACRE clerk has compiled this list detailing the correspondence received by SACRE and circulated on behalf of SACRE since the last meeting. So are there any questions for Rebecca on this? No, if there are no questions for Rebecca there, I thank you. The report is noted. Item 6 is the schedule of meetings for 2022. And again, I'll hand over to Hayley Jones. Hayley?
Yeah, Chair. So yeah, we've set the summer term meeting for the 29th of June, but we will be in touch with members regarding any autumn dates once we have kind of checked and coordinated diaries, and we're hoping to sort of get all of the dates out then for next year in one hit, so everybody knows when the future meetings will be.
Right, thank you, Hayley. Are there any questions on that? No, if there are no questions, thank you. The report is noted. Item 7 is the feedback from the virtual Wassakar autumn meeting hosted by Torfaen on the 23rd of November 2021. Again, Hayley, if I can hand over to you.
Yeah, so this feels like ages ago. There were presentations from 3 representatives from of the 4 consortia. So mainly the presentations looked at curriculum design and how consortia strengthen the roles of SACREs and engagement with SACREs. It was also noted during this meeting that Hodder Publishing were creating resources to support the curriculum. However, it was felt that they weren't suitable. The Catholic Education Service then also spoke and about offering online support about the new curriculum and briefing to Catholic members of the SACRE if they needed it. But more support and more information will be given as and when it comes out, because we are still waiting for some further guidance off these for support for the curriculum for Wales. They also talked about professional learning. So Wasaka asked for 10 members or 10 experts or teachers or anybody with an interest in RVE to become part of a task group to create professional learning resources for teachers linked to the new RVE guidance. So a working group was created out of the 10 people. They were experts from primary and secondary. And then they're going to create, or they are creating, resources, just giving us more advice on how to implement the RV guidance. I'm not really sure how these look, and it'll be all shared through Hub. And we will be encouraged as SACREs to share this information when we have it. So hopefully more will come out soon, or in our next Wasaka meeting on the 6th. And then updates were given from Jill Vasey in regard to her relinquishing her role, and Wasaka noted that they just wanted to thank her greatly for all her work that she's done, and I know she's worked hard with many SACREs during her time. So I think they were just the main points of the meeting.
Thank you, Hayley. Are there any questions? No, there are no questions, so thank you, and that update is noted. Item 8 is the Executive Voting 2022 with the request for nominations to the Wassakar Executive Committee. So again, Hayley, I'll hand over to you.
Diolch. Yeah, so members were basically just asked to consider the information they were sent, and then we just need to discuss any nominations that they wish to make in order for these to be forwarded to Wasaka by Friday the 8th of April. So we just need nominations for the Executive Committee if anybody would like to become part of it.
So first of all, are there any questions about that before we note that update? No, we note the update then. And are there any nominations for us to make? Does anyone wish to make any nominations? Does any nominations will be passed to Libby Jones at Wasaka? No, if there are no nominations, then that update is noted. The next item is item 9, the proposed changes to the Wasaka Constitution. Again, Hayley, could you give us a brief summary?
Yeah, so basically members just had to refer to the document attached to agenda item 9. It's been shared by Libby Jones from Wassaka, and basically just if there was any changes you wanted to make to the constitution, that you have the opportunity to, and just share this information with Rebecca, so we can forward them on to Libby Jones at Wassaka.
Are there any questions or any comments that anybody has? No, then that update is noted. And item 10 is representation at the forthcoming Wasaka meetings. So if anybody wishes to put their name forward to attend the next Wasaka meeting, it's on the 6th of April 2022 at 10:30 AM via Microsoft Teams. So if anybody wishes to attend, if they could either let us know now, or if they would pass forward their names to Rebecca, our clerk, then Rebecca will pass them through to Wassaka, and the meeting papers and the link would be forwarded. I see Mr. Gray is saying that he would like to attend, so I'm sure Rebecca has noted that. I am hoping to attend as well. So if there aren't any others, if somebody thinks they would like to attend, then please contact Rebecca, our clerk. Thank you. And that, members, brings us to the end of the agenda. I'd like to thank you all for attending today, and shortly we'll be you'll receive the information regarding the summer term meeting. Just a reminder that we have the standing conference on the agreed syllabus immediately following this SACRE meeting, and I would ask that members, when you leave this meeting, to join the other meeting through the link for that meeting that's been sent to you. Thank you, and again, I declare the meeting closed, and please could I ask committee services to stop the recording.